If you've clicked this video right now, the one thing I know is that you are in an openness. You are in an openness to your infinite nature. And this video is simply an expression of that openness. Because right now you may not know for certain what you are, but it might be clear what you're not. So what we're going to be doing is just gradually exploring our experience just to see, well, if I was infinite, what would that mean? So what I'd love you to do is if you could just follow this along. You don't have to do anything. It's completely effortless. We're just learning now. So many people, they think that a practice is needed. They think they have to do something. No, they don't. The practice is always, any practice is in the wrong direction. The sun cannot practice shining. The sun would simply have to recognize it's already light. This is that process. So in your experience right now, I just want you to go directly to this sense of being alive. If I was to ask anyone on the street right now, they would all agree that they're alive. However, if I was to ask them how they know whether they are alive, they would almost always say, well, I know because I experience a body, I experience my lungs breathing, my heart is beating, I can see the world. And what they do is they superimpose that what they are is temporary and limited to that which we experience. That's perfectly fine. The only problem with that is that it's an assumption. You see, what they're saying is my existence depends upon the content that I experience, namely thoughts, feelings, images, sensations, and perceptions. So the first thing we're going to do is just distinguish for a moment. Is it really what I experience? Do I really experience an outside world? Or do I just experience the perceptions of my mind? Now this is very interesting because what we see is I want you to see two things. The first thing is that there is an experience. The second thing is that there is experiencing. There is experiencing, experience, you see? And there is an experience that takes place and there's an experiencer of it. Sorry if that sounded too wordy, but I hope you understand what I mean. So we have the one that experiences and the world that's experienced. And we believe that the world that's experienced is out there and we are inside here. Now, what's so interesting is that we think we are in the body. But what I want you to see right now is that if you're going to consider outside anything, then you would also have to consider that your body and everything included in that package is also contained out here, which is a really strange concept because how could that be possible? And the reason that's strange is because we experience the body as an object out here. When you see your own body, it's equally at a distance to you from another object, if you're going to see it in that way. But we know that that's not true. So what is really having the experience and where is that experience actually taking place? Well, we know that if we can experience something, we cannot be contained by that thing. It would be impossible. It's like saying that the movie contains the TV. It obviously doesn't. So now the question is, why do we develop an experience where we feel like we are inside the head? Well, this is very, very simple. We believe that we are inside the head simply because we have eyes, and when we look in a mirror, it looks like they're coming from inside our head. So we would obviously assume that we would be behind the eyes. But the problem with this is that the sensation of the eyes is another thing experienced. The sensation of a head is another thing experienced, just like if you were to touch somebody else's head. You touch your own head, it's equally an experience that is outside you as touching somebody else's head. Now the question is, how could you be having an experience of your head if you were contained inside your head? You wouldn't be able to experience it. And in fact, if you took your perception away and just experienced the raw experience of your head, all you would experience is a sensation. In fact, I can't even experience 90%, 95% of my head. In fact, the most experience I have is about here. And in fact, try going there. The minute you go to the sensation evaporates. And now, while you're doing this experience, I want you to realize that you are the experiencing aspect of your head. You're not really experiencing a head, because the minute you go to the sensation disappears and nothing takes place. What could be the nothing that takes place? Pure consciousness, the one that is exploring. It's like those dots that appear in your eyes if you stand up too quick and you try to look at them and they bounce away really quickly. This experience you're having is pure consciousness. Pure consciousness experiences what we call experience. However, experience never takes place. The only thing we experience is the perception of experience. If we were to touch an object, we never touch an object. We experience the sensation of a sensation. You see? But you are that which is sensing the sensation. So we can take this a step further. And instead of saying that we have an object that we touch, then there's a sensation of an object, then there's a one experiencing the object and the sensation, we never experience the object, we just experience the sensation. Then we superimpose what the sensation is pointing to with a thought. But the thought is not itself the object, neither is the sensation of it. The sensation of it is an experience purely experienced in your mind. So if we take the objectness away from the object and we just experience the sensation, we see that we then believe that, oh, I experience a sensation. We say there's two things. But the question is there two things taking place? Is there an experience of being a separate consciousness that experiences a separate sensation? Well, the question then would be, what is it that is experiencing the sensation? Is a sensation experiencing the sensation? No. Is a thought experiencing the sensation? No. What else could be experiencing the sensation? The only thing that's left, pure consciousness. Pure consciousness experiences the sensation, obviously. Is there anything else that could experience anything other than awareness? Of course not. Experience requires awareness in order to be aware of an experience. That's the definition of experience. So the experience of the sensation would have to take place in the same place as awareness. Now the question is, where does awareness take place? It obviously doesn't take place anywhere. Because the minute we find a place that it takes place, we realize that this objectless awareness is the one experiencing it. So again, we would say, well, where does the awareness of that take place? And we go further and further back, and we realize that this awareness just seems to be nowhere. And then the object that we try to experience, if we say awareness is in my head, we go to the head. Well, the head is another sensation experienced by awareness. So where does the experience of that awareness take place? And you find that everywhere we look, there is nothing to find apart from awareness. We could take the experience of the sensation of our foot on the floor. All there is the experience of awareness, and that sensation takes place. The experience of a sound. The sound of my voice right now is taking place. If you look at the experience, you're not hearing my voice. You're hearing a sound, and a sound is made of hearing. You're just experiencing pure hearing. There's nothing heard, just the experience of hearing. And if you go to the experience of hearing, you find that it takes place in the same placeless place as the experience of your thoughts. Even the apparent distance, if you hear a bird tweeting over there, even the apparent distance of a bird tweeting over there is an experience taking place in the same placeless place of awareness. So everywhere we look, Awareness takes shape, and everywhere we look, nothing else appears. This is the experience of your being imperturbably free. It's like, where does the screen take place in a movie? The screen doesn't take place in a movie, you see? Yet the movie is completely perturbed by the screen. If without the screen, there would be no movie. Without awareness, there would be no experience. So just as we see that the movie takes place in the screen, but the screen does not take place in the movie, so too does experience take place in awareness, but awareness does not take place in experience. You see? So when we're trying to find our infinite nature as an object or experience in the world, it's impossible. Because it's like a boy in the movie, and this is the thing that woke me up. This is when I met my teacher. This is the first thing I heard him say when I was traveling the world, aimlessly looking for a teacher. I heard this on a YouTube video, and I was in India at the time. And the thing I heard was, I'm going to paraphrase it to the way that I understood it and the way that fits this context right now. Trying to find your infinite nature in the world as an experience. It's like a boy in the movie searching the world in order to find the screen in which he plays. The screen never takes place in the movie, yet the movie is made of the screen. This is the message that I'm sharing to you right now. So trying to find your nature in experience as an experience, trying to wake up, it's aimless, directionless. It leads to nowhere. But it does lead somewhere. It leads to somebody saying exactly what I'm saying right now. That there is nowhere else to look other than your being. So why not go to the one place you've always ignored? Your direct experience of being alive. That is the only place that you exist. It's the only thing you experience, and it's the only thing that doesn't take place in the movie. That is your infinite nature. You are not limited to experience. Experience is limited to you. Everything in the world, everything that you perceive is not really something perceived. It's your infinite nature taking modulations within itself, shaping itself in the form of perception. But when you look close enough, the object disappears and all that's left is you experiencing yourself. That's infinity. That's God. Godding itself. When we see it in that way, we realize there's no limitation left. Words like God, words like reality, words like non-duality, they lose their meaning, they lose their purpose. There's just this, nothing replacing it, pure being. Have an amazing day, guys. If you like this, check out the link in the description. I take people through meditations completely for free every single week. Thank you. Have a beautiful day. Bye.